Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Inspired by You MindKite Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Kerr, and today I've got a very special guest joining us. His name is Abdul Bangura. He's the CEO, founder of Fresco Box, the Self Mastery Guide, and ALAC Group, which is Aircraft Logistics and Components. How he got there, we're going to find out. Welcome, Abdul. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
No, absolutely great. As my audience know, all these stories are based upon, inspiration, inspired by you.
Yeah.
Usually, personally, to me, if I've heard someone's story and it's had an impact on my life, it's inspired me. I think I need to speak to these people. So I'm an entrepreneur. I know you're an entrepreneur. That was one thing that really, it's an inspiration in its own. It's a difficult journey, as you're well aware. But behind that entrepreneurial journey, which is inspirational, you've had a bit of a tragedy as well, if not one, many actually tragedies, and you've managed to see that through. I was just wondering if it's okay and you don't mind if we could delve into that, that backstory of what happened to you and a bit about your life.
Of course. So if I start from the very beginning, might make things to paint the picture. And it goes deep, but I'll condense it and I'll make it very to the point. Cool. So when I was young, my mum and dad both had their own businesses. So I've always had that entrepreneurial kind of influence. So my mum, she had a hair salon. She had a care agency. She's just always been a hustler, if I'm honest with you. My dad, he was in the army for 18 years and he come out and he's got his own construction firm. So for me, I've never seen my dad or my mum work for anyone. I literally haven't seen my dad have a boss. So as far as I'm concerned, it's I don't know, that's what I was meant to do. I was always kind of disciplined. So that was my mindset from young. And I didn't really realize it, but that's what it was, right? So growing up, I wouldn't say I had the worst childhood, but I didn't have the best. I was kind of mediocre, but I wanted more. I grew up in Essex. I was a minority amongst the majority. So I always kind of stood out, but for the wrong reasons. And I didn't really understand what that was when I was young. So I got into the wrong crowd and I started doing things and I started trying to hustle and make money. And I had my reasons for doing it, which were purely financial, right? It weren't because I wanted to be cool. It weren't because I had any other influence. It was because I was just trying to make a better life for myself and my family. And when I got to college, I was going hard. When I was 16, 17, I was really doing my thing. And I got caught up in the wrong crowd, like I said, and I went to jail when I was 18, right? I went to prison. So I spent a total of 5.5 years in prison. And it's not really something I'm proud of, but it brings me to how I am today and who I am today. And the people that I met on that journey, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for that. So I went to prison for that long time and I was 18 and I don't know, I was didn't really learn my lesson. I was a bit young. I was gassed. I had money. I was, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand what was going on. Anyway, when I was in jail, I met someone, right? I met this guy. He come onto the wing, and he was an outside visitor. And this guy was amongst a group of other people that were wearing suits, but his suit wasn't really weren't really going in, you know what I'm saying? His suit was a little bit he had a couple shirt buttons undone and he looked a bit scruffy. And I went to him, what, did your wife not iron your shirt this morning or something, mate? What's going on? And he was you know what, she didn't actually, and we got into it, we started having a little banter and he was well, I only got left. I was I've got 2 years left, man. It was just all right, what are you going to do when you come out? I was well, to be fair, right now, I've just been focusing on my training. And when I went to prison, I was really skinny. I put on a lot of weight. Literally, fitness took me out of that zone of being in jail. That was my escape, right? So I really took it seriously. And I said, look, I want to do something to do with training and helping other people and I get a buzz of it. It was all right. Here's my business card. When you come out, you give me a call. I've looked at this guy's business card, right? And it said, Sir Tom Shabir. And I thought, he's got a sir next to his name, which has got to be someone important. He's been knighted. Like, this is someone important. And then I looked around and I thought, I don't think I'm meant to have this, you know. So I wrote it down, loads of bits of paper, right? I wrote it down on all these little bits of paper. I'm talking phone number, email, everything. I wrote down everything. And I remember ringing my dad, going, Dad, listen, I just met this guy, right? Like, Google him. Who is this fella? Like, he just gave me his card. He said, give him a call. And he's like, fucking hell, son. Like, this guy, like, he's the chairman of the Prince's Trust. He is the chairman of Virgin Money Giving. Like, he's got his arm around Prince Charles on Google Pictures and that. I was just like, what the fuck? All right, cool. I'm keeping his number. Do you know what that did? That gave me hope. That gave me hope to say, right, do you know what? I've got something to aim toward and keep my nut down for when I come out.
That right there is fantastic. But see for the point you got your prison sentence, up until that point, what were you feeling like? What was your sentence like? You know, how were you feeling being part of that, you know, that system?
Shall I tell you what? It was like, shall I tell you the weirdest thing, right? Let me tell you how it actually was. I grew up, like I said, in Essex. I grew up in a place in Southend, right? I was a minority amongst the majority. See, when I went to prison, do you know what's weird? Is I felt like I was around a community of people that I hadn't been around. And that's a proper warped way of thinking, you know, but that's the honest truth. I hadn't been around that many black people, like, in a space, apart from when I went to like a cousin's party or something, or like a family friend's party, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like I had my culture around me. But remember, I was young, innit? I was 18, 19, 20 them times, innit? So it's like, where I hadn't had that from a young, I don't know what the right thing is, but that's the only way I can describe it. It's like, it didn't affect me in a way where it should have been like, oh, this is a deterrent, this and that. I was thinking, right, I'm around my people's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, it's such a crazy way to think about how it affected me personally, but not everyone thinks that way and not everyone's in that position. Like I said, every single person is different circumstances. But for me, I kind of felt cultured. But at the same time, that could have led me to be like, well, do you know what? I like this feeling of being around people like this. I need to be in this place to feel like this. I didn't. I was like, well, we're all walking around the exercise yard like a bunch of fucking, excuse my language, like sardines in a can. Why can't we do this outside? Like, so for me, I don't know, I never really got comfortable with jail. I was always like, every day I was pissed off I was in there, if I'm completely honest with you. Yeah, I was just pissed.
It was nice to be around your culture and your people.
Yeah.
But then the growth and awareness happens where you go, well, why are all our people here?
You know, why are we here? Like,
I come from a mixed race background as well. My mum's black, my sister's black. You know, my family's from Jamaica and stuff like that. And I think that as well. When I look at, you know, sort of black culture and prison sentences and how prisons, you know, especially down south, majority, you know, as you say, you've got in there and you felt at home in your culture, but boys shouldn't be there, you know, shouldn't be there. And I'm glad you got a bit of growth and a bit of awareness from that, certainly.
100%. And that's got a lot to do with how I was raised as well. Like, if I didn't have good parents around me or good people, even like good family, like, I was lucky. Not everyone's got that support, you know what I'm saying? Some people go jail on their own. So you got to find your way through. I was lucky that I had good people around me to kind of guide me and I had something to look forward to, where some people aren't in that position, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why there's that consistent cycle. So to go back to the story, cut long story short, done my prison sentence, I came out and I rang this guy, right? The day after I come out, obviously I come out, done what I had to do, you know, you get a little haircut, you go see your lady friend, you do what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? So I've done that. The next day I rang him, he said, oh, do you know what, I've been waiting for your call. Come see me in my office. It's just off Oxford Street. I remember I've gone there and I had this suit, right? And the suit, it didn't really fit me, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was the man a little bit, right? And I remember I had on Homer Simpson socks, but where like, you know, like when you put a suit on and you don't realize until you sit down, the legs come up a little bit, innit? So like, as I sat down in his office, you could just see dough at the bottom. And he's gone to me, oh, remember that comment that you made about me, about my shirt? He was like, yeah, nice socks, innit? Oh, it was just like this. the sickest feeling of just like, yes, like he remembers, innit? And I actually remember sitting there thinking, I was in a cell the other day. Now I'm like in this dope office in the middle of Oxford Street. Like my life has just changed. So anyway, he said to me, look, I asked you this before. I'm going to ask you again now. Like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, how can I help you? Like, I was like, look, I really want to knuckle down on my personal training. I want to get into like healthy food, healthy eating and stuff, blah, blah, blah. He was like, all right, sweet. You know what I'll do? One of my friends owns Fitness First. I'll give him a call for you and see what I can do. Right? Let me see if I can place you somewhere. And that's what he did. I got a phone call and I started working in a gym locally to me. If I'm completely honest with you, I probably could have got more, right? But I don't know. I just felt like, mate, he's given me enough of his time already. Like that's a liberty asking him for more. Anyway, what happened after that? I started working in the gym, started personal training, got my clientele up, started working. The gym that I was working in closed down in my area, and then I got the opportunity to go to the city. So now I'm working in the flagship store in Tottenham Court Road. I'm thinking, right, I'm smashing it like PT. I'm charging $150 an hour. I'm killing it, right? Jay, you know what happened? I got bored, right? I got bored. I used to commute on the train. I think, I see this guy next to me. He gets on at the same stop. His coffee is at the same level every single day. I'm just looking around thinking, mate, what the fuck? Like, it's not worth the travel. I'm thinking, like, do you know what I mean? My brain started to play on me a little bit. I've been out for about a year and a bit. Like, and I'm saying, like, I'm starting to think other ways. I'm starting to see my friends doing certain things. And like, no, I'm saying,
that's an entrepreneurial spirit, I think, because when you've got that entrepreneurial mind or spirit in you, when you get involved in the rat race, you start to be aware that you're in the same as when you were in prison. You were aware
in the rat race
situation, and I think it can be a curse, but it can also be, as we'll soon find out, it can be a blessing as well.
100%. But in my circumstance, it was a curse and a blessing, a bit of both. Because what happened was, I got bored and I started to like go a little bit left, and the street started calling me, and I answered the phone. Right. When I answered the phone, do you know what happened? I went back to jail, right? So, like an idiot, I didn't listen to my instincts. I didn't take the opportunity that I had. I ended up in Wandsworth. And do you know what happened in Wandsworth? I'm sitting there thinking to myself, mate, I've let down every single person that's helped me. I've had all these opportunities. I know this guy, he's going to think I'm a prick. What am I doing? You know what happened? He come and see me on a visit, right? The guy come and see me. He went to me, mate, do you know how stupid you are? But you know what the funniest thing is? My dad used to be the governor of this prison. How mad is that? And he went, do you know what? I actually believe in you, Abdul. You might not think it, but I believe it. I see something in you that you don't see in yourself. So now when you come out of jail, you're gonna fucking listen to what I'm telling you, innit? And I was like, yes. So see that sentence there? Like, I really sat, thought, like, it changed me. Remember, I'm in a prison where it's nowhere near my area. It's an adult jail. Do you know what I'm saying? All the dynamics have changed. I've already had a taste of freedom and what life can kind of be like, right? I hadn't really started my business then, but I started personal training and whatever. Anyway, I've come out. And sorry, just before I've come out, I said to myself, right, cool. I've done the personal training. I want to do something to include like healthy eating. How can I create this business that it's like I incorporate everything as a whole? And I thought, at first I wanted like a little coffee van, like a little coffee stall van. And that was my plan. Anyway, I've come out of jail again. And like I said, it's not something I'm proud of, but it happened. And I had nothing, right? All the money that I made, whatever, gone. I had nothing. I was on my ass. I had £54. And one of my friends had a gym. I started personal training in the gym. And I built up my clientele again. But as I'm building up my clientele, I'm starting to cook the food for them. So I'm saying to them, right, cool, if you train how I told you to train, you eat what I told you to eat, you're going to get your results. But I'll cook the food for you and give it to you as part of the package. Trey, it just started to take off. Like week by week, client by client, people are buying food. And before I know it, I'm in my mum's house and I've just got fucking meals everywhere and they're just going out. And then what happened was there was an old Subway building in my area that come up for rent. I thought, fuck it, I'm going for it. It was £1,000 a month rent. I had £1,000 deposit, £1,000 first month's rent. I had literally 2 grand to my name. I gave it to the shop, got the keys, and I just got cracking. Like literally, I had no business plan. I had no experience in PR, sales, marketing, all the things that a business needs. I didn't know on paper. From the entrepreneurial kind of like street stuff, yes, but on paper, no. And what I realized was, really, I'm doing the same thing, right? I go to my supplier, I get the food, I break it down. My phone rings, I bag it up, and I give it out. It's just not drugs, it's jerk chicken. Do you know what I'm saying? And
do you know something about this? I actually promote this a lot. I come from Glasgow. Things like that are rife anyway. Without going into too much detail. I try and talk to people about this, and I say, do you understand how good a businessman you actually are? You know, there's some people doing import, export in different countries, and they don't even realize they're salesmen. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, of course. Man, you're dealing with logistics, you're dealing with staff, you're dealing with import, export. It's actually a harder life than what it would be if you're doing.
If it was legit.
You know, and 100%. I respect you on that. And I think that's a fantastic achievement. One other thing I want to touch on before you tell the rest of that story is you literally had 2 grand and you went for a business without, you know, your marketing skills and all the rest of it. You got started. And I think that's what a lot of people make a big mistake. They question all the ifs, and they don't just go, well, I've got a big why and I'm going to do it. They don't just get started. And I think 100%. Once you get started, you can start to find your rhythm and your feet after that, you know?
100%. And that's the thing. Once you start, it'll just figure itself out. Obviously, not everyone can work like that. Don't get it. Depending on what the business is and what the project is, sometimes it's not really that ethical. But the first thing to do is literally start. With me, I had to take the risk. I have £2,000 to my name. I don't have anything else. Literally nothing. I put that money into the shop. The money that I was making from the meal preps to profit, I was using the guy and buying a broom to clean the shop. Do you understand? I was putting the money back in the business without realizing that's what I'm doing. So just trust me. You just start. Fuck everything what everyone says. Just get cracking in it, and then it will figure itself out. You'll figure out what to do. The universe will just go, look here, look, do this, do that, and you'll be like, oh, all right, cool. So I started, right? When I started the shop, when I opened it, I already had a contract with my local football team, which was Southend United, from someone that I met in jail. So the person that I met in prison, his best friend was a captain at the team. We arranged a meeting, cut a long story short. We had a year contract for them to supply their meals after every home game. That really put us on the map. People in the local area took us seriously and was like, wow, fucking hell, like, this business is really taking off. Within 4 months of that happening, we went up for a business award. And we won, right? So new company, which was one of my top 3 greatest achievements to this day. Like, I cannot believe it happened. I hadn't even been out of jail a year and we were winning the awards. And I was just like, mate, this is it. Like, so we did that. And then it just went further and further and further. I remember, I'd done a long time in prison, innit? So I really hadn't had the time to come out and like go to Centre Parks and go Cheshire, and do you know what I'm saying? I hadn't had time. I went straight into business. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I went so fast because I sat down for so long. My mind was just on, like I was ready. You know what I'm saying? And even now, I try and get myself back into that mind state in it because, it was full steam ahead.
Hungry, as Les Brown says, hungry. You know,
I'm telling you. So I wanted it, right? And I worked hard. I worked very hard, and we opened up another store in Aylesbury. We had 2,000 meals going out a week. We went nationwide. We started working with like athletes, ambassadors. Like it just went crazy. And then what happened was this, right? Everything was going really well. I had staff, everything you can think of. It was doing fucking amazing, right? And then we opened the shop inside a gym. So I used to work for Fitness First. Fitness First come to me and said, look, we've got a site that needs a kitchen in it. Why don't you come in there and do it? And I was like, all right, sweet, cool. This is where I started my business. Like I started PTing with them. So it just kind of makes sense to give back. Started working with them. It was going really well. Corona hit. Last year, March, around these times, last year, March. shut down everything.
Yeah.
So what I did was I closed my other stores and thought, I'm just going in the gym. It makes sense. Like, people come out the gym, they want a smoothie, they want a healthy meal. Like, why am I paying all these massive expenses on an old Subway franchise when I can be in a gym and have clientele every day? Like, so that was like a good and bad decision. But it will figure itself out when I tell the story. So the gyms closed, fuck me. So that was last year, March. Last year, April, I was expecting my first child, right? So my baby was about to be born. My child's mother was 8 and a bit months pregnant. She was feeling a bit ill, right? She was feeling a bit ill. And she's like, I've got to go to hospital, man. There's something wrong with me. Like, I need to go to hospital. She's gone to hospital and they've said, oh, well, we're suspecting that she might have corona. And we're thinking, right, how can she have corona? Like, she's young, 36, 37. She's plant-based. I'm telling you, vegan, trains every day, like probably the fittest pregnant person you will see. Trust me, like, this woman was just like one of them, like, obsessively weird, healthy people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just really healthy. And what happened was, literally within 2 weeks, she gave birth by cesarean because the doctors were saying she couldn't breathe. She had under pressure on her lungs. It's like, look, we need to take the baby out now to reduce the pressure on her lungs. She's really struggling breathing. So she was in hospital for 3 or 4 days, gave birth. But she was under what's the thing where you're put to sleep? I can't remember, anesthetic, whatever it's called, right? So she wasn't awake, right? And child was born, and she went straight into ICU. So she was in ICU for 8 days and passed away in ICU. Never had a chance to meet the baby. She didn't even know what gender she was. You know what I'm saying? So I had a little girl, she didn't know what gender she was. And I'm now sitting there thinking, fuck. Like, whoa, my life has just changed so dramatically in 2 weeks. It's like, at first I lost my freedom. Secondly, I lost my business. Now I've lost my child's mother. Like, how much worse can my life get? Do you understand? And I'm sitting there trying to process, like did this actually just happen? Like, it's just, no, it's got to be a feel. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, like, it doesn't feel real. But it was, and it happened.
I want to jump in there, and I just want to, from the whole MindKite family, I just want to send you some blessings, you know, and blessings to your little girl as well. And that's, even just now, I've heard this story a couple of times from you, and it's still taking me it's still raw, because it is raw, isn't it? And I mean, for you especially,
100%, man.
You're also, I just want to kind of speak down to the camera and say to anybody out there that, you know, we're sending blessings to you all, anyone that's lost any loved ones, but especially, you know, during this pandemic that we're in the world, and this coronavirus, and for anybody out there, you know, that think what you think, but I've got a young gentleman here, he's telling you how fit and healthy, you know, his wife was, and these tragedies happening, and so blessings to you all, but Abdul, man, blessings to yourself as well, and
no, I appreciate it, man.
To hear that, mate. You know, it's a
sad story. It's sad because for so many reasons, but for me personally, it's sad because she didn't want to know the gender of the baby, right? She's like, I don't want to know, right? I don't want to know until it's that time. And she never got to know. She never got to see the child. She never got to hug. No, I'm saying that. So for me, it's like, rah, like, my child will never have that mother's hug. Like, that's mad. She should never not feel that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's the saddest part. And that happened last year, April. So it's coming up to a year anniversary. And it's like, crazy, man. It's crazy time. So that happened last year, April. And moving forward, I'm kind of like in limbo. Yeah, I'm in this dream world of just like survival mode. Yeah, I'm just in like this weird, like, I can't even describe to you where my mindset was. I was just, every day I was just going, but my head wasn't there, right? I'm still trying to process what happened. And then the gyms were meant to be opening back in July, right? So I was like, yeah, the gyms are opening back. I'm thinking, all right, cool, I can get back to business at least, kind of stay focused, get this cracking, adapt to dad life. Just, do you know what I'm saying?
You're a father now as well. You're a father at the same time.
Yeah, I'm a dad now. So it's like, I've got loads of, loads of responsibility now, but like I've got to do it on my own now. So it's completely different. So what happened was, the gym's opened in July, and I had a little dispute with the people at Fitness First. So cut a long story short, I've gone in there one day and they're like, "Oh, look, absolutely, like your contract's been cancelled. You can't open the shop here no more." Like, what? Like, yeah, like the contract's just been cancelled. I'm like, shut up. What are you talking about? You can't do that. Like, we all know you can't do that. First and foremost, you need a reason. You need 28 days notice. All the little like whatever it is, right? So I'm just like, shut up, man. I'm going upstairs to train, like whatever. Bearing in mind, the person that told me, I've known this person for years. The day before, I was in there like normal. So it's like, this is all news to me. I'm just completely baffled. So I've gone upstairs, I'm training, and I'm vexed, right? You know, when you're upset, you're doing training, you slap the 50s on each side, you're having it. Police are coming.
Nah.
Not just couple police, you know, like bare fence.
Nah, man.
And I'm just like, can I help you? They're like, yeah, you got to leave the premises. I'm like, for what? They're like, oh yeah, you're not allowed to be here. I'm like, why? Like, they're just talking absolute bollocks, right? And I'm like, listen, this is a civil matter. I haven't done any criminal law. Furthermore, everything down there I own is mine. So what are you talking about? We sent an email, we've done it. Bro, do you know what it is, yeah? See where I've got a previous criminal record. People try and use it against me and think, oh, well, the best way to get rid of him is just call the police. Yeah, but
course,
like it's 20.
Just to kind of jump in there, and that's something else that really gets to me as well.
Oh, mate.
You're a hard-working guy. You turned your life around, right? See people that keep using that past reference or that past CV to ruin your future. It makes people, you know, not want to bother. It just people coming out of prison just not want to go and do normal stuff because
I'm telling you,
that getting thrown up in your face all the time, you know.
Mate, it's frustrating. So what happened was, I just held it, right? I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna leave. You know what I'm gonna do? Call my solicitor, right? And we'll deal with this the legal way. What happened a week after that? Fitness First went into administration. And I was like, you little pussy. Yeah. But they messed up, which I won't go into too much detail, but they messed up. So the case is still ongoing, blah, 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 blah. So then I'm thinking, wow, mate, this is in July this happened, yeah? So March it shut down. April, my child's mother passed away. July, Fitness First is just moving mad. August, I'm like, fuck this, I'm going to Dubai. Fuck this, I need a holiday. This is too much for me. Like, I need to go and let my hair down, go and see some scenery, drive some nice cars, be around some good settings and just kind of reset, right? And just get my mind back and just get back into that place of like where I know I can be. So I went to Dubai for a couple of days. And when I came back, I was so ready for the world. I was so ready. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, my life can't get any worse. How much worse can it get? Like, it can't. For me, it was physically impossible for anything to get any worse. So a few years ago, I had a in my shop, the old Subway shop, the old Fresco. One of my friends came in and I had an idea. I was like, hey, bro, you're at uni, yeah? And you're studying aircraft engineering. I was like, why don't we create like the Euro car parts, but with airplanes? And he was like, yeah, we can do that, you know? But right now I'm still studying, so I'm not at that stage, but give it a few years. Bearing in mind, this is about 4 or 5 years ago. Literally in September, I remember ringing him and saying to him, bro, remember that idea that we had a few years ago? I think we should do that, you know? And he was like, Abs, it's so mad because I was talking to one of my fellow engineers today and we were just talking about how there's such a gap in the market for something like what we've kind of talked about to come up. And there's so many flaws in what's going on at the moment. This is the best time. Brexit's coming up. It's going to like just tear a massive hole in the market, right? But people aren't bold enough to go, you know what, this is what I'm going to get into and this is what I'm going to do. So cut a long story short, we set up the company. We put out the tenders. We just done everything that we needed to do. Got the team together and Alak Group was born. So what we do is we supply aircraft components, deliver them to different vendors in and around the UK. Soon gonna kind of like move on to Europe and that kind of stuff. So it's a business that like you wouldn't expect someone like me to even comprehend thinking about, right? But I think into the future. Now you got to think everyone's in lockdown. People, airlines, all of these kind of companies are stagnant at the moment. There's a huge demand for what we've just created last year. You know what I'm saying? So I know that this will be an absolute breadwinner, but at the same time, it's going to be something that's long-term and sustainable for the next 50 to 100 years. So with me, I'm trying to build generational wealth for my child and my family, not just a case of like, oh, like, I just want to get rich.
It's actually a great time to start something like that, because with the planes being grounded and stuff like that, you can start to get your foundations built. And then when everything
100%.
goes mad again, you've got a ready-made company there. And it's an insane
100%.
idea, but usually those ideas are, as you say, the ones with the gaps in the market, because no one's ever tackled it before. So
100%. And people always think that, see what it is, right, with business and ideas. People always think you need a lot of money. Money helps, but let me ask you this. Would you rather get £100,000 from someone that has no fucking knowledge, or would you rather get £500 from someone that will give you their whole network of people on their phone book? That's how I think.
I think what it is with people, we're both entrepreneurs here, and I started most of my stuff. I started with next to nothing as well, and the same as yourself.
Yeah.
People just need to do the work, and I think they think, money's a great excuse, or I don't have the money. But realistically, what they don't have is a work ethic. Because if you start to lay the foundations, you usually find the angles and the roots.
100%.
And 99% of the time, when I've started, it's never been money related. And
you starting.
Your network is your net worth. So I would definitely be with you on that one. I would rather the list of contacts.
100%. And it's about getting the contacts, but keeping them as well. Every now and then, just check in. Hey, how's things? How's the family? Oh, like, how's your dog's foot? I know it broke it, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And just keeping that network. And that's something that I have managed to do very well, because I'm very good at networking with people. I didn't realize this before. All of the skills that I have now have come from my time in prison. All of the entrepreneurial kind of like qualities that I have come from maybe my parents, because they had their own businesses. Do you understand? So you have to utilize everything that's around you, right? And we all have this superpower that we have to just kind of tap into, and kind of let yourself look at yourself. Like, you have to look in the mirror and be like, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to get there. These are the steps I'm going to take. And until you kind of take that accountability and you understand self-love and you understand what it takes, you won't get there. So that's what leads me on to the self-mastery guide, where I now coach people on business and mindset. And I'll obviously be bringing out courses and stuff in the future. But for me, it's a case of, I will never tell someone something that I haven't been through myself or I have no experience of. That's like me trying to tell you how to build a hot air balloon. I've got no fucking idea. So how can I advise you how to do it? But with something in terms of like mindset wise, where like, look, I'm still grinding through what's happened to me. I can advise you on that, because I can tell you how I've come out of it. And a lot of people that I talk to, there's no perception's everything, right? And no one's situation is worse than someone else's. But sometimes if you put yourself in someone else's shoes, the way that you was looking at your problems might be a little bit different. Do you know what I'm saying? So you might go, wow, do you know what? Imagine if like I lost that amount of time in my life and my business failed and my child's mother died. What would I do? Bro, don't think I didn't think about suicide. Don't think I didn't think about taking drugs. I haven't in my life, but I thought about it. I don't think I didn't think about just running away and just turning off my phone and not talking to no one. But I didn't act on it. Do you understand? It's not a crime to have them thoughts.
Absolutely not.
Do you know what I mean? You're allowed to have them thoughts, but it's what's driving you to not doing that? Okay, cool. I've still got this to look forward to. I've still got that to look forward to. Do you know what? There's always light at the end of the tunnel. For me, what got me through it was, it can't get any worse. It literally can't. You could have kicked me out of my house. I'd have been like, I don't even care. You know that? Right.
Let's stick with your self-mastery guide. I think it's important what you've been touching on here. So for me, you are a true master of self. So you deserve to be doing that, you know, mentorship and programs. I think that you're a great advocate for that, you know, and so many, you know yourself, so many people sell the dream, sell coaching, and they have no clue or concept of what they're doing. You know, they're watching a Tony Robbins video, then they're repeating it to you. But you're actually a true lived experience. You know, you've been in prison, you've set up your own businesses, you've unfortunately lost your wife, you're a single father. There's so many aspects to you. You're successful now. There's so many aspects to you which says, I have mastered myself. So keeping with that sort of stuff, what sort of advice would you give, to people that are even going through a fraction of what you've been through? What are your, your sort of top 3 tips? I know you've got self-love there as a huge one for you.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say the first thing is accountability. Taking accountability for where you are. It's so easy to blame everyone else, Jay. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm sitting there blaming the doctors. I'm blaming this. I'm blaming that. But no, it's not like it's your fault, but you have to take accountability to understand that only you can put yourself in that position. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you trace back the steps, you didn't do, or you did do whatever it was to lead you to where you are. When you take accountability, you find peace instantly. And it takes a long time. Remember, our egos get in the way of things. Do you know what I'm saying? Another thing that I'd say is change your way of thinking. Look at the world differently. Put yourself in someone else's shoes before you make a decision or a judgment, and kind of have a 360 vision of whatever the argument or the conversation is or whatever, right? See it from both sides. My dad always told me when I was young, there's 3 sides to every story: your side, their side, and the truth. So you have to kind of see the other 2 sides before you make an informed decision or judgment. And that, and like I said, self-love. If you don't love yourself, like, no one's gonna love you if you don't love yourself. So that's what confidence, that's where like your insecurities come from. That's where, like, that then demons that are deep down inside you, and like you're trying to fight them, but you've got to like love yourself and know that you're great. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, see me when I look in the mirror, I understand the difference between cockiness and confidence. I don't say I'm cocky. I just say I'm confident enough within myself. If I'm confident enough in myself, me and you both bleed the same. There's no difference between me and you. I had the opportunity and I was blessed to meet Richard Branson, right? And I asked Richard Branson, I said to him, what advice would you give to someone like me? Right? What's the best advice? And he said to me, patience. That's it. Literally. He didn't give me like some mad spiel and like do this and that. He was just so real. It was just like, listen, patience. And what is meant for you will come to you.
He's right about the patience, though. He's right, because
patience.
My life didn't change until I learned to be patient. You know, I was too quick off the draw. I was always angry. And once you start learning even a small percentage of patience, you get that breath, you get that, as you spoke about, you get that vision from both sides because you're taking the time to see 100. It that way. So Richard Branson, you know, he is who he is, but you know, that was gold. You know, he's so right.
Telling you,
it's and simple, but you know, we don't.
Mate, and I spent a lot of time. I had a good like 10, 15 minutes with the man. So for me, it was like, that's kind of the only thing I took away from it, if I'm honest with you, apart from being in awe of who he is and a bit, you know how it goes. I said to him, what is the one thing that you could like, so I'm saying, and I'm expecting him to, I don't know what I was expecting him to say. And just went, patience. But listen, I'll just tell you, I'll be honest with you, just practice patience. And with that, going back to the self-mastery thing, you have to be patient in yourself. You have to know that like greatness is in everyone, right? We are all capable of so much more than what we can comprehend. But if you want it now, you're not going to find out what that is. You have to understand your own self-patience, understand what makes you tick, understand your strengths, your weaknesses. You have to kind of do a SWOT analysis on yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot, but like I'm saying, Jay, it takes time. With me, I am not perfect, right? I am not at that height of like, oh my God, like I have mastered. Something could piss me off today and I could switch and I could hit a red flag and I'll go back to zero again and be like, for fuck's sake, I'm teaching people about all this, but I've got road rage earlier. It's normal, do you know what I'm saying? But I know what makes me trigger now. I know what I like doing. I know what I can't stand. If there's certain people that or certain energies I don't want to be around, I just stay at my house. It's prevention's better than cure, as they say. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes I'm just little things like that. That's self-mastery. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a case of understanding who you are, understanding what you want out of life and how you're going to get there, and kind of just like avoiding all the negative shit. You know what I'm saying? And just staying on the straight and narrow, and that's it. And like I said, I'm on this journey, like with everyone else, day by day. I'm just trying to make a better life for myself. I'm trying to tell all the people that were in the position that I was in, because there's thousands of people that are in that position, even worse, some of them. Listen, get a goal, get a vision, and just fucking do it. And great things can happen. I read something earlier about Tom Hardy, and it said that he used to smoke crack. He was in a bad place when he was like 18 or 19. Now he's an Oscar-winning actor. Little things like that. You got to read deep into things and understand like the greatest people come from the worst places. So it's like,
yeah, your tomorrow doesn't need to be today, but you have to get there. And no, I totally agree. So what does your future look like now? What's your next steps for the rest of this year? You know, we're coming out of this pandemic, hopefully. And what does it look like for you? And how's your little girl getting on? You know, how's your family life?
First and foremost, with her, mate, she's amazing. She's actually 1 next week, so it's a year next week, and I'm just like, I'm so happy. Her birthday's on Easter. Like, I'm just gonna have a little thing for her, a little Easter egg hunt and stuff. So it's gonna be dope. Her name's Love. I look at other people's kids, yeah, and I think my girl isn't that naughty. Well, she doesn't scream like that. So I know that I'm blessed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so blessed. So like, I'm just grateful that she's fit, she's healthy, she's happy. I can't thank the universe enough for that. What's next for me is I'm looking to franchise my company, Fresco Box. So I've literally just this week finished off writing up my franchise agreements. I've set up, like I said, Alak Group, which is looking to open up a few warehouses in and around the UK and just have that up and running. I've got another partner where we set up a company called 360 and 960, which is a whole holistic transformation. So it's mindset, it's physical fitness, nutrition. We've got a therapist on board. It's like a whole 40-day program where people can just come on board and literally change their whole lives. It's called 360 and 960. That's with one of my other partners. That's going to be dope when you'll see the launch. By the time this comes out, you'll probably see it launched and stuff. So I'll let that speak for itself.
To that.
When everything opens, if I'm completely honest with you, I'm staying in grind mode. I'm staying in this little hole that I'm in at the moment in terms of work, right? This little bubble of just like work.
No distraction.
And yeah, like, I don't know, lockdown's kind of been a blessing and a curse for me, but it's been more of a blessing because I can talk to people because they've got the time. And if everyone was out, I probably would have networked with like 4 of the 100 people that I've networked with because everyone's just fucking busy. Yeah. And for me, I feel like I'm going to watch everyone go out and just kind of see what happens, because it's not like I'm scared to go out or anything, like, but I love going out. But where I'm in this mindset now of work, I think more if I work for the next year, it's going to put me 10 years ahead. So I'd rather be 10 years ahead next year than Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather just get it done.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't get that, you know, putting in that 6 months to a year, hard work, harder than you've ever worked before, will put you that 6 to 10 years ahead. And I don't think a lot of people can actually get that analogy. Like, how does 6 months transfer into 6 years? We'll try not doing the 6 months and see how far you are and how far we are in 6 years' time or 10 years' time.
100%. And like I said, I'm loving the challenge of running multiple businesses and having my little girl running around and stuff. Like, sometimes she might even jump up and come inside the zoo. I love that, because you know what it is? That's real life. This is my reality. This is what is really happening in my life right now. Apologies, hold on. My life right now. And it's a case of like, this is my real.
No, I really appreciate that. And do you know what? I think your story, every aspect of it, the entrepreneurial side, you know, the unfortunate, and again, you know, we send our blessings, what happened to Love's mom, and even your prison journey, because you're a very well-rounded character now. You know, you've got the self-mastery guide, you've got that entrepreneurial side, you've got the food business, you've had the PT background, you've been to prison, you've experienced loss, but you've also experienced being a father. Someone watching this out there is going to pick up on at least one point, if not many, of your story. So it's powerful. And I really appreciate you coming on here. What I usually do is I round up the podcast on two things.
Yep.
A future thought. So basically, what are you telling your future self, or what would your future thought be to anybody listening here? What's your future advice to them? You know, that was the first one. We'll go with that just now.
Okay, cool. So my future thought to anyone listening, or myself, so I'll do it to anyone listening, right? My future thought is, would you rather in 10 years time, not even 10, 10's not even that long time, in 20 years time, 20 to 30 years time, look back and go, oh, boy, imagine if I started that then? Or would you rather in that time think to yourself, well, I'm kind of happy just being where I am now?
Power.
What would, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'll say, right?
Power. And because I want everybody to write that down and try and answer that question to yourself, because he's challenging your thoughts, and that's fantastic. That's where the power lies. And no, great. That's actually one of the best ones I've had on this podcast series. The second one's a cheeky one. I always ask. Listen, people have all got inspiring stories. I believe every human on this planet, whether they know it or not, their story is inspiring to someone, right? It can be that person's mastery guide, you know, or help them out of bad situations. But not everybody knows this, and not everybody tells their story. So what I always ask every podcast guest is, nominate somebody that you think has got an inspiring story or has inspired you in your life that you would like to see on this podcast, and I will try my hardest to track that person down and get them on the show.
So I'll tell you what, I've got someone, and it's the first person that comes to my head. And she's actually one of my partners in the 360 and 960 program that I just spoke about. Her name's Rochelle. Her name's Rochelle, and she's got a company called Moral Stars. And a brief history of what happened to her, yeah? So she is a very happy-go-lucky girl, was always out all the time, blah, 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 blah. You kind of know how it goes. Her sister owns a huge company in America, partnered with the Kardashians, like crazy. She had an accident last year. Basically broke every bone in her body from the pelvis down. Was in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, nothing. Now, if you see the transformation and what she's built, I cannot even begin to describe how powerful the mind is. The mindset of when you want something, I'll let her explain it to you.
sounds like somebody I definitely need to get on.
I'll let her explain it to you.
Abdul, tell me how the people can get a hold of you. Where can the people contact you? Because I'm almost 100% sure that there'll be people wanting to reach out to you, if not for one of your businesses, just to speak to you personally on a level. So I've got a website which is www.abdulbangura.co.uk. You can email me at info@abdulbangura.co.uk. I've got Instagram, which is at the Self Mastery Guide. Twitter, the Self Mastery Guide. Do you know what? I'll give you my WhatsApp. Hit me on WhatsApp, bro. Put the number there, innit? I don't business. Like, it's whatever, innit? I'll put some links on the platform.
Put some links there. Just hit me up, man. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm happy to talk to anyone. I learned TikTok off a 10-year-old the other day. He showed me, listen, like, dude, I was like, what? Like, so I need education on that as well, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. No, thank you very much. Well, there you have it, everyone. That's another episode of the Inspired by You podcast. If you like the content that you're seeing today, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like, follow, share, and do me a favor. Download the app. It's out now. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.